stop,
won't stop,
won't stop,
till killer cops
are in cell blocks, can't stop.
The following newly released video portrays an incident of assault and violence at the hands of police. Viewer discretion is advised.
I suggest you back the fuck up.
No, why you want to Why would you say that?
This is Baltimore City Police Officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz. In a newly released video shot in 2016, Ruiz is seen with his knee on the back of an unknown man with a gun pointed at the man's head. His message was a clear one: concerned onlookers, adhere to my dictates or else. Here, we can hear Ruiz saying to Baltimore residents,
I suggest you back the fuck up.
It is documented that Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz is a repeat violent offender, even without access to all complaints against Ruiz, undisclosed by BPD Internal Affairs records. 6 cases involving Ruiz are known. This video will briefly highlight 6 total cases beginning in July of 2013. Case 1, Abdul Salam, July 1st, 2013. Here, Salam is seen victoriously smiling in celebration after the jury found Ruiz and 2 other cops liable for brutality against him. However, because the trial was civil, not criminal, Ruiz was not fired and he did not go to jail.
Police profiled me. They followed me in the back of my house, harassing me. Police proceeded to violently and hostilely approach my van with me and my son in it. As I announced, this was my home, guns drawn. Once they reached my vehicle, they violently pulled me out, ramshacked my vehicle with my 3-year-old son strapped in his car seat, threw me against the gate, slammed me repeatedly. Picked me up by my feet, and while I'm upside down, they proceeded to drop me on my head, hog tie me, and immediately when I fell on my head, Ruiz, in a wrestling type of action, and kind of hit his knee against my neck. I was arrested. I had no idea what I was being arrested for. My son is scarred to this day. He remembers the incident as it happened yesterday. When he talks about it, he always refers to Daddy being on the floor with police yesterday.
Case 2, Darrell Harris, profiled, as seen in this video, July 17th, 2013.
Yeah, I said, what's wrong with it? Improper way with it. There's no such thing as an improper way. You gonna tell me my job, bro? I know the law. Are you gonna tell me the law? I know the law. You gonna tell me the law? I know the law. What's the problem? You giving me a ticket? You need my license registration? Yeah, profile, y'all use the seatbelt as a reason. Profile.
Hold on a second, sir. Do me a favor, take out your keys. Yeah, you can record me.
For what? Nah. I don't feel safe right now. Do you want me to step out the car? Do you want me to step out the car? I'll step out the car. Call the police, man. What do you call a supervisor? I'm about to do shit. This is getting uploaded to the internet right now. Yeah?
And we are 2 law-abiding citizens that we are getting targeted, and I don't know why.
Just 24 hours later, Bernardez Ruiz played a leading role in the police killing of unarmed Tyrone West. Case number 3, the murder of Tyrone West, July 18th, 2013.
My brother Tyrone West was brutally murdered on July the 18th, 2013.
In both of these cases, when you look at the pleadings and the harsh language of these officers that have been quoted to me by reliable witnesses, the N-word.
And Killer Ruiz and Killer Chapman and the rest of those 11 to 15 killers, including David Lewis, took something from my family that they could never give us again. And that was my brother Tyrone West, one unarmed man who was brutally murdered, beat to death in broad daylight.
Mic check, mic check. This is West Wednesday, number 445. We are calling for justice for all victims of police violence. Mic check, mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
So everybody, thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you, Ben, for the introduction and all that you do, and thanks, shout out to the West Coalition for all that they do. Just watching that video just like really broke my heart all over again, for the simple fact that we're literally going on to 9 years since my brother was brutally executed in broad daylight. He wasn't beat in the alley. He was murdered in broad daylight, executed. And the saddest part, we didn't ask to be in this club nobody signed up for. This was a club forced upon us. This was something that changed our family lives forever. And I don't know how it feels to lose a child, but I do know what it feels like to lose a sibling. And I don't ever want to feel what it feels like to lose a child. That is heartbreaking. But it is horrible when you are a sibling and you're fighting for your sibling. My brother was more than just a big brother. He was my father figure. He was my mother all into one, because me and him lost our mother at an early age and whatnot. But he was literally everything to me, my best friend, my church partner, everything. So when they kill our loved ones, they don't do no type of investigating on who they're murdering. They just, murder someone and then leave us to pick up the slack. And it's sad and devastating that in this video that we just played, you literally see Killer Ruiz, who now is sergeant. He's married to Michelle Battle, a prosecutor in the state's attorney's office. The dirt and the corruption is very, very real. And the simple fact that tonight my special guest is my brother Carlos Ball. Literally, unfortunately, I had to meet his mother, Tony, a beautiful warrior queen who literally had to bury her son. And I see the mothers that are in the movement fighting like hell and getting smacked in the face. I see the sisters, I see the brothers fighting for accountability, but it seems one can away from a six-pack. We can never get it. They want to play all these games about, reforming, all that. And I just literally looked at all this stuff in the 9 years that we accomplished as a West Coalition, literally before they even became the West Coalition, that when it was just the West family out there, when no one listened to my family, they laughed at my family when we said that people broke in my brother's house and set his stuff out. It sounded like the police did it. I showed them affidavits that stated that the landlord said it looked like my brother's house was raided, literally. All the corruption is real, and people laugh. Oh, police officers don't break in nobody's house. And it wasn't until they saw the Gun Trace Task Force expose their dirty dirt. Well, they didn't expose it. They were exposed, literally, before people started saying, oh my God, this was. And if we think it stopped let's be clear, Ruiz was a part of the Gun Trace Task Force, because after this, I want you to continue on watching this video that we show weekly, right? I want you to watch to the very end, where you will see this elderly man pretty much said how Ruiz, that was a part of the Gun Trace Task Force. You will hear the media say this. This is true. He was a part of that Gun Trace Task Force, literally, that was going around targeting Black men, stereotyping and profiling, thinking they was robbing drug dealers. And literally, I let my brother borrow my green Mercedes-Benz, and I know he was targeted. Literally, I feel like my brother was set up, but I can go on all night and I won't. But I just wanted to let you guys know the reason why I'm feeling really emotional, because the last time I was honored and blessed to have my brother Carlos on here, he wasn't feeling well that night. And I remember among our guests, this was our 403rd West Wednesday, but among our guests was our warrior king brother Mel Reeves. And God does everything for a reason. Literally, I had my notepad, and normally my updated one, tonight God would not let me find that one. I'm like, where's my red book at? Then I went back and I found this other little notebook that I keep notes in. And the first thing that popped out, the first page, because I always keep the lineup of guests that we have and write my little notes and things and ways. And the first name I see, I saw Carlos Ball. Then the next name I see was Mel. Matter of fact, I'm sorry, Mel Reeves was at the top. Then I had Carlos Balls, and then I had my sister Latoya Holly, and pretty much Latoya is Antoine's black sister. We were talking about the corruption in the medical examiner's office, and unfortunately, our brother Mel Reeves is no longer here. That is sad and heartbreaking. And when you live in a world that we live in, where retaliation is real, I don't care. Call me paranoid, call me whatever, but it is what it is. You know, I know that COVID is real. I know the sickness is real, but I also know too that corruption is real. And I'm praying them dirty doctors didn't do anything foul to my brother Mel. I'm praying because my gut, my spider sense, especially me and him had COVID at the same time. And thank God I survived. But it's really sad and heartbreaking and devastating that my brother didn't make it out. That bothers me. For the simple fact that this man wasn't thinking about the pain that he was in, the shortness of breath that he was in, that fog that takes over your brain with COVID that is real, that can actually kill you. He was actually writing from his sick bed about police brutality and lifting up families. He was a warrior, guys, to the end. And it reminds me so much of my sister Tony, who always gives back to the community. And she was gracious enough to share her son too, another one of her sons, Carlos Balls. And like, I'm so honored to meet him. And I met this brother, and before I met him, I heard him say a spoken word, what really touched my heart as he was reading it. Like, this brother was so deep. I'm like, oh my God, I was standing up supporting him. I didn't even know he had my brother's name. This before like I even introduced I had no idea my brother's name was in his poem. And he even told everybody that he was so humble, a humble, sweet guy, a sweet warrior fighter. He said, whoever name is not in this poem, don't judge my heart. And I'm like, oh my God, this brother's deep. Like, I was like, oh my God, he's awesome. And he wears so many crowns. He's giving back to the youth and everything. But I'm going to let him tell his own story. So no further ado, our warrior brother, Carlos. But before I bring him on, I'm sorry. I want to take 1 minute of silence for our sister, Bianca. Bianca is the auntie of Breonna Taylor. As if losing Breonna Taylor wasn't enough. Right now, unfortunately, one of her loved ones, with her fiance's son, was murdered because she was supposed to be on here tonight as well as one of our guests. But I'm just praying for our beautiful sister Bianca. I'm praying for her fiance, and I'm praying for her family, because guess what? Whenever murder hit, it doesn't matter if it was little black down the street. It doesn't matter if it was a killer cop. When your loved one is murdered, murder is not a sickness. Murder is not an act of God. Murder is someone doing a devilish act, playing God, and taking the life out of your loved one, cutting their life short, cutting plans, cutting dreams, and killing a whole goddamn family. So my heart goes out. So even if you don't pray, I want you, for this 1 minute that we take to stand in solidarity with our sister Bianca and her family, yet again, and they still don't have no accountability for Breonna Taylor. Shame on this dirty system. So let's just take a moment, 1 minute, guys, just to show love and send prayers and thoughts. If you don't pray, send thoughts up in the atmosphere. Do whatever you got to do. Something got to change, because this is sad and disgusting. So let's take 1 minute starting now. Mic check. Thank you guys so much. And I already let her know whatever plan she need us and whatever way she need us to support her, we are there. So once I find out more information, guys, I will truly and gladly share it with you. But something definitely has to change. But back to a brighter note, I'm real honored today. I'm very humbled to have, because he took his time. He's not getting paid. I don't have no money to pay anybody. I don't have money to pay the West Coalition folks that are doing such great work, that are taking their time, like our brother Ben is putting all, I call him the man before and behind the movement, because even when we're outside in the street, I know we're in pandemic times, but even while we were outside in the street, boots on the ground, this beautiful man, this beautiful human was out there with video footage sharing it, so that way everybody can watch it. And that means a lot to me. So whatever which way you support us, thank you guys so much for the support and the love. So no further ado, because I'm trying to bring us back to love. I'm so honored to bring and introduce to you guys again, yet again, our brother Carlos. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. Thank you to my warrior sister, Tawanda Jones, for the opportunity to be a part of West Wednesday yet again. It's always an honor. You already know we do this out of love for the fight and love for each other and in this fight together. So anytime you need me on the show or will allow me to come on the show, and it's always an honor. I just want to thank you for that. And you did bring something to my attention while we were speaking. The last time I was on the show, I wasn't feeling well, and our brother Mel was on there. So I just want to say rest in power to our brother Mel, or continue to fight in power, brother Mel, because although you are no longer here with us in the physical, I already know your fight continues on the other side, and it's going to continue to live on through the rest of us that are still down here fighting against this corrupt system. I was very moved and got a little emotional myself watching the video when we first came on. And I realized and remember that it'd be 9 years for your brother, and it'd be also 9 years for my brother. April 24th, 2013, my brother Kerry Ball Jr. was murdered by the two St. Louis City police officers, Jason Chambers and Timothy Boyce. And so similar. They are so similar to the officers, Officer Ruiz. You know, it's like they kill our people, our loved ones, and they get promotions. You know, they move up the ranks. And it's sad when all these killer cops should be jailed. But my brother and his life and legacy will forever live on, as well as like the West Coalition. Your brother and his life will forever live on. So we're all going to continue to fight together, because from tragedy has grown so much triumph and so many great things. And even currently to what I'm doing now, you know, I work in the social work field, and that was my brother, his passion, to work in the social work and human service field. I'm currently the coordinator of a program called Youth Build. If you're familiar with Youth Build has been around for many, many years. And it's a program that is designed to help young adults ages 16 to 24 obtain a high school diploma, their GED, and newly called your HiSET. But they also get an opportunity to gain a credential in the construction field, the medical field, IT field. And this is an alternative program built like no other. You know, so we get those kids, or not kids, young people from these inner cities, the ones that have been forgotten about, the ones that have been disenfranchised, the ones that society has says they're not worth it, or there's no point in wasting our time. We go into communities, we recruit them, we get them, and we let them know that they are important. A lot of the times we open up the way, we allow them to express themselves. We open up the floor and allow them, let them know this is your program. And although we may be the case managers, the mentors, and the coordinators, this is your program, and we will move it so. And it's just very rewarding, and my investment on returns to see those young people succeed, you know, being the first and second ones in their families to walk across stages, receiving certificates and diplomas. That means a lot to me, because I already know that it's going to help them come above, build and grow above what they are used to. And I'm talking about poverty-stricken communities. You know, so these programs like this and working with people, young people, is helping them, like it's helping to fight many things, helping to fight crime, helping to fight poverty, helping to fight people with that are unskilled in neighborhoods. But like I said, from my brother's death has grown so many things. I never knew that I would get to a point in my life where I would work in this field and actually find my niche and actually love it. I just knew at the very beginning I wanted to continue my brother's legacy because I know the power and the power that he had and what he could have accomplished had they not stolen from us. You know, I will always say that his life was stolen because they don't know. They never know what they're killing and burying and putting in the ground, but they don't know that those energies and those spirits continue to live on and they just move. Like we all know about energy. Energy is never destroyed. It's simply moved from one party to the next. And so the energy that he left behind radiated to me, and I continue to radiate it out into the community. So I let that fuel me rather than make me feel defeated. So that's why me and my mother continue to fight diligently and fight to make sure that his name live on, like making sure that we keep his organization alive, and that's the Carry on the Ball organization. So Carry on the Ball, INC. We Carry on the Ball, INC on Facebook. Or you can follow me, Carlos Ball. So we want to just continue to make sure that my brother's name continues to live on, but I also want to continue to fight and make sure that so many people in my community can continue to skill up and get the things that they need so that some of them don't have to feel this pain. And one of the things we do in this program, we go through a 2-week process called mental toughness, in which we basically is like an interview and an orientation to make sure that these young people are committed and ready for a program such as Youth Build. But when you get to talking with them and sitting down, and we have people come in and speak with them, guest speakers, and we get to talking about the different traumas, you know, even though these young people come from different neighborhoods, when we get to tearing down those barriers and we get to having those real conversations, and they get to see the similarities, especially in pain. And that's one thing I want to help change. I want to help change and try to help them as they come in not be impacted with so much trauma. It's so sad that so many people in our community are familiar with trauma. So that's why, you know, sometimes when we have things that we do in the community for my brother's organization, I invite some of them out to come, you know, help us when we're facilitating to the community and donating things and holding our drives. Like we just had a successful pajama giveaway in which we served over 160 families with warm undergarments, because I know Baltimore gets cold, so you all know St. Louis gets cold, so we want to make sure that the children in our community were able to stay warm this past winter, so we provided them with pajamas, underwear, socks, gloves, glove caps, skull caps, toys, food, everything. It's just one of some of the many things that we do with my brother organization. But right now, I wouldn't change anything that I do, not in the world, because I feel like as long as I continue to fight against the system, as long as I continue to work with the people in my community, as long as I continue to work with other families that have been impacted by this type of violence, that my brother would never die. His legacy will forever live on.
Absolutely. I just want to thank you. And as we into the second day of Black History Month, which it should be for me, it's all year round. It literally starts at the end, go all year round. You know what I mean? But you know, I just look at you as a Black History hero because I've been teaching my students and I'm having fun in my classroom, bringing, you know, and then it's funny because now I just feel like Mel is right here in our presence. And Mel was telling me to tell you hi. And also, like, because it was amazing for me to find this paper, like, out of all things, I couldn't find my old book that I'm used to having. And I go back and I find that we had the 445th West Wednesday. And I go and I find the first thing that popped up in the book was the 403rd one. So tomorrow, I'm definitely going to be talking about Mel Reeves. He's going to be a part of my classroom discussion. So I got a picture of him that I'm going to share and everything. So, but definitely wanted to, you know, just give you thanks and whatnot. And also, real quick, I want to check in to see if our brother Marcus is in queue to because I see we have a lot of comments and questions. So I want to do a mic check real quick. Mic check.
Mic check.
Ooh.
Can you hear me?
Yes. How you doing, Marcus? Thank you so much.
Good, good.
And I'm sorry for always calling you Marcus. Marcellus. Sorry.
No, that's all right.
Yeah.
So on Facebook, Hillary says mic check. Hold on, I'm gonna refresh. This seems like there's more comments than there. Kenneth says mic check. And Hillary says love and care to Bianca's family. On YouTube, Smiley says mic check. And Angela says mic check. I'm looking to see because for some reason I see comments on the streaming, but I don't see any comments on the YouTube. So I'll figure that out. Mic check.
Mic check. Awesome.
Mic check.
Mic check. Thank you for that, Marcellus. And so Carlos, I wanted to ask you a question. And again, thank you for joining us all the way. Let everybody know where you currently at right now.
Myself, my brother, my mother, Tony Taylor, your sister in this fight. We are all from St. Louis, Missouri. You don't know where that is? We're right in the middle of the map. That's what we always tell people. We right there in the middle of the map. So we hail from St. Louis, Missouri.
Yes, and I heard you mention that you guys are looking at snow right now. So I know all the youth and everybody, you donated to the warm pajamas and underwear and socks and all that good stuff are truly blessed by you right now. Thank you so much.
Yeah, because it's coming down and the temperature's steady dropping. It's crazy because yesterday we were at 51 degrees. 51 degrees, sunshine and everything, just for us to get to the end of the day. And the rain started coming. And by the time I woke up a little bit about 4 this morning to get myself ready for work, it was ice everywhere. And then they called off. And, because I work for the city, and they called and told us, don't come in. That they were going to shut the city down for like all the city offices. Then the snow came, and it's just, we've got a little bit, but it's really cold, but we're getting the bulk of it tonight. So I hope everybody in my area has gotten out and gotten all the things they needed, because we definitely will be in the house for the rest of the night and tomorrow and possibly Friday.
Yeah, and I'm hoping everybody's safe and, right now, just doing now. So, but I wanted to also talk about, you being in like Ferguson, and I remember one of our Warrior Kings literally that was standing up for Michael Brown, and like everybody was a frontline activist. Could you tell us who he was and how did you know him?
The person that you're speaking of, our brother Darren Seals, King Darren Seals. We first met each other prior to Michael Brown's passing, because at that time in 2014, in the summer, we were trying to put together a coalition of brothers to work with the young people in the community, because we were trying to start this fight early, never knowing that we would meet each other again down the road in August of 2014. And I'll say this, man, me and Darren been like blood brothers ever since, and I'm still upset about the way that he passed, like it still bothers me being a person that has lost 2 of my own siblings, and me and Darren to get as close as we were and to lose him too. It felt like I lost another brother all over again, and the circumstances surrounded by his death. I don't feel like anybody in the community contributed to his death. I feel like that was of a higher power, and I'm talking about the system and the government and everything that has the power to complete something like that, that happened with Darren. Darren had an ability and a power to mobilize and to open the ears and minds of a lot of people. He had a power to open up the masses, made people think, not just with their mind, but to start seeing with that third eye. And Darren was tying together something beautiful before his passing, and that still bothered me today But one thing that he stated to us, and I say us, I mean the people that were close to him and the people in the movement that worked really close with Darren. Don't be fearful. Don't be scared, because we all know the risk we run when we do this type of work. And his legacy gonna forever live on. Shout out to Darren Seals' family, his mother, his brother, his sister, his brothers, everybody.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you brought that up, because the retaliation is real. And this government is horrible, and who they retaliate on. And it's always people that stand up, and then the message that they send be really clear, because he was among a lot of great activists that was found burned up, cooled on fire, gunned down inside of their vehicle. And I just feel like now with all these, unsolved murders here in my own city, the people that are actually getting murdered, that they just sweep underneath for the carpet, and it's just sad and disgusting. But we know that it's real, but it's not going to stop us. If we live for something, we got to die for something. So if they, want to come back like that, then hey, we got to keep these boots on the ground. They're not going to stop us. So that's why I just always try to make people aware, because God forbid if they do anything to us, they know that they're on point. Like they're on point, that retaliation is real. And the way they cover up, you got a medical examiner's office that's supposed to be transparent, not biased, that's supposed to just look at somebody's loved one and let the body explain what happened. They can let it happen in different people cases, but when our loved ones get murdered, they want to cover up, write things on the report to get these killer cops off. So we know that they can write anything that they want to write on these reports. But it's just sad, like the way people are getting murdered. It's always the ones boots on the ground that they kill. Always the ones that give them back like you. You know what I mean? Like, it's just sad and disgusting and horrible. But like you said, our brother said, we can't be afraid, because I'm not afraid. Because the thing is, when they murdered my brother, that brought out the beast in me. So there ain't nothing they can do. Nothing they can do. Nothing they can do. And we gonna clap back. That's all I'm trying to say. Like, you're not gonna keep burning our brothers up in cars, and we just keep on coming with the kumbayas and all that. No, enough is enough. Like, God forbid anything happen to me, I don't want nobody named Street after me. I don't want none of that. Like, shut the shit down. Excuse my language, y'all know I don't even like the cuss. But enough is enough. Like, how many more of our brothers and sisters, especially that are fighting like hell to make sure we safe, they get murdered, and what we do, we just forget about them? Move on. They done hung brothers, activists from the tree, activist sons from a tree, and y'all lynched them. Like in broad daylight, like what? Like, we still living in Edmonton,
And it's real, because even if they don't physically kill the body, they'll attack the character. Because one of my brothers here, who I know does the work, has been doing the work for many years. One of the people I've worked alongside for many years, my brother Bruce Franks Jr. Shout out to Bruce Franks Jr. They tried to attack his character, and with a bunch of lies. You know what I mean? Like, I know the work and the fight that he fought for, and I know the type of work he did, because like I said, I would be side by side with him on many of those fights. And they try to attack your character, but we just can't allow them to win. But I know what he was capable of. I know his work that he did, and they tried to take him down for some BS. You know what I'm saying? And they try to go after you when you're too vocal. They try to go after you when you are able to open up the ears and the minds of the masses, and that's another thing that.
And the main thing, they come at you when you don't sell your soul, because a lot of people that fight for us, as soon as they offer them a paycheck, they start thinking, well, damn, I could benefit off of this money, and then they get out the move. You start seeing them move and shift, and they try to weaken down the move. But the real ones that's dedicated, the real ones that ain't selling our souls or selling our brothers and sisters and mothers' souls, that's dead, they like, you know what? We're going to attack their character. And when that don't work, we're going to attack them physically. We're going to start attacking people that they love. That's why I'm still looking at this dirty system, because my cousin Tavon Anderson was murdered. Literally, it was a year on the 20th of last month. So literally no answer, no accountability. And he was out there on the streets with me, and he was killed in his car. You know, they send the right message. And the crazy part, the night he got killed, the night he was assassinated, I was on the news at 11:30 talking about Killer Ruiz, who was in this video. And they were talking about all the corruption that the ACLU did a damning report on Baltimore City corruption with all these killer cops and how they're being rewarded and all this stuff. Like literally 3,500 reports on Baltimore City police officers. Like, what? Really? Like, and then they saying how they were still working. They said how Ruiz was a part of the gun trace task force and he was still working. And I was on the news giving it to him. I was giving them the business, saying, yeah, they dirty. They killed my brother, blah. I was calling them out. And not even a half hour later, they killed my cousin on a West Wednesday morning. Literally 12:19 a.m. Literally. So, I mean, the retaliation is real, but I'm not a fool. So, you know, a lot of things I sleep on.
Yeah,
You don't let your enemy know what you're doing, but I'm ready. I'm ready. They don't know what we get ready for, but I'm ready. I'm just letting them know because I know they watching my page. They be blocking it. They be stopping it. But I want them to hear these words. I am ready to move forward. We're moving forward. We're not going to stop. We're not playing the Doug and Pony show no more. We coming, and we coming correct. And that ain't no threat. It's real. It's real. I'm not coming with no violence. I'm coming. And when I'm coming, I'm not going to be swinging at the air. I'm going to be connected. I'm going to be connecting with some real stuff. Not physically, but I'm going to be connected to where so you going to feel them punches. Just like Greg Bernstein felt that when we got him kicked out of office, when we get Merlin Mosey up out of there, she's going to feel it. For the simple fact, she's sitting there holding on. She know that this murderer animal killed my brother. He's getting promotions under her watch. And she can't even come and tell my family, you know what? I'm not going. All I want to do is tell me, you ain't even got to sit down and you ain't even got to see me in person. You can send me back a letter and say, hey, you know what? I'm not doing nothing for Tyrone West. She's holding up my process. Justice delayed is justice denied. And that's what this dirty system has been doing to your family. That's what they're doing to me. That's what they did to my sister. That's what they're doing to my sister Timothy Fleming's family. Her brother was killed damn near what's going on a year. And they still have an autopsy report. They don't have anything. How dare you treat a family like that? Our blood is on their hands. So, yeah. And I wanted to, before we, also I wanted to just let everybody know last West Wednesday was real powerful as well. All our West Wednesdays are. But last West Wednesday, we had our sister on who was a minister. She brought the fire and the flame. And we also had Stephon Clark's mother on as well. She boarded and they cut us all off. We couldn't even read the death names. Like we couldn't even do our sad list. They cut us off, kept freezing. It was horrible. But we were pretty much standing in solidarity with firefighters that was actually, they died pretty much, going to work, trying to put out a fire. And today was their memorial. And I heard it was really sad. And my heart is still with the families of the firefighters that were, that's pretty much just lost their life. Like everybody deserves to go back home to their family. Firefighters, our loved ones, good cops, good nurses, good doctors, lottie-dottie, and everybody deserves a right to go back home to their family. Everyone. It shouldn't be a selected few. And then every night you're hearing about somebody getting murdered. You can't even go to the casino and enjoy yourself. It was a man, a murdered, and then I found out it was one of my, sister's family members, uncle. That was, dated one of their, they dated, through like a relationship type of thing. But the fact that you live to be 60-something years old, you go spend your hard-earned dollar just to enjoy yourself, you and your wife, and then you get murdered, literally, and they're not talking about that. Like, they're not even talking about it. What they'll talk about is just let it go. And then literally, the homicide rate here, I don't know how is, and I want to talk about that real quick too. How is the homicide rate in your city? Because in our city, we're only 2 months in, and this is the early part of February. We got over 35 homicides. We got over 27 victims that already have just been shot at. They survived. They got shot, but they survived. So the numbers are crazy right now, and we just still living like, oh, it's fine. It's not fine. Don't wait till it hits your damn loved one before we do something. And the crazy part about we keep allowing City Hall to be shut down. Meanwhile, homeless people out there hungry. They ain't got nowhere to stay, you know, and you got advocates in the city that's trying to fight for, like my sister Christina Flowers. She tried to fight for the homeless people here, and a lot of people fighting for homeless people. But it's just sad. Meanwhile, the biggest place that gets the dollars that control what we do, right? That if they don't do something right, we suffer from it. City Hall is closed, but you got everything else open up. Schools are open, so you keep on using this pandemic, the pandemic, to plan how you want to avoid us, to do things online. I can't wait to stuff open back up. Like, I'm ready. Like, it's crazy. Like, they know what they're doing. This is a way for them. Like, if we used to go in and mic check the crap out of City Hall, like literally check them jokers as they going in and out the door. Like, we need to shut it down. Real talk. So,
Yeah.
but how was the
crazy
city?
too. It's crazy. Like you said, I don't know the exact number, but we already in the second month, and I just know for sure. Over this weekend, we had 6 murders. We had a triple homicide in one spot, you know, in which 3 people were killed, and 1 is still in the hospital, critically injured. A young lady was killed over the weekend. Like, it's crazy, man, and it's like a lot of people don't see how all of these things are tied in together. You know?
Say that again. Can you say that part for the people in the back that might not hear you? Say that loud.
All these things are tied in together. You know what I'm talking about? It tied in together as far as being like a systematic oppression, you know, from police brutality to community violence, because that's one thing they always try to do. They try to separate the victims of police brutality and community violence and make one feel like it's greater than the other, when we are all pained. We are all have lost. So that's that similarity I was speaking to earlier when I put the young people together. So when we get together with people that have lost people and loved ones to police brutality, and we can tie in together that we all share that loss and that pain. Although that my loved one was killed by the police and your loved one was killed in the community, and people always like to say, "Oh, y'all only protest and rally when it's a white officer or police brutality on black." Well, what about black on black crime? I said, first off, black on black crime don't exist. People kill by proximity. People kill in their community.
That's why
there's no such thing as black on black crime. There is community violence, and then there is not. So people kill by proximity, like I said. But here's my thing: where's the media, and where are all the people and the naysayers when we are holding these visuals and rallies in the community to stop the violence, marches and visuals and things of that nature? They won't show up because that doesn't sell. And it's a tool to keep us divided. But like me personally, my family personally, whether it's someone that's killed by the police or somebody killed in the community, we always try to show up and show our solidarity and our love and our support. And we talk to people and let them know you can't divide us. The only difference is when a person is killed in the community, they're okay with locking Ray and them up immediately. So nobody in the community can kill me on camera in front of the world. The world see the video over and over and over again, and they come from the community, and then they are able to walk free, or they're able to get a lighter sentence. That is the only difference with our loved ones being killed in the community and the kid being killed by the system. They are able to be promoted and continue to walk the streets freely. But in the community, the justice system works just fine with incarcerating our people. And like I said, all of this are tied in together, because if we talk about these people and the crimes and certain things they commit in our community, what is the root cause? Because nobody is waking up in the morning and say, "Hey, I'm just going to go kill this person." No, it's a root cause, and it's something that's happened over time.
Yes, and if we look at history, since we're talking about Black history, let's just look at our history.
It's community.
Literally.
There's no such thing as black on black crime.
Absolutely. Like, if you look at the history and the way Black folks and brown folks have been getting killed with this Black History Month, right? Let's give you some history. We used to be lynched, hung from trees, literally, hung from trees by, the slave catchers, the masters, all of that. Now they just replaced it with bullets and tasers. Let's be crystal clear on that. It's just sad and disgusting. And we've been doing this for over 400 years. You know, it's just sad, and nobody wants to talk about it, like you said. And that's why I love you, my true warrior brother, because there's no such thing as black on black. When somebody try to hit me, what about black on black? First of all, Asians kill Asians. Is that Asian on Asian crime? Hell no. Caucasian kill Caucasians, especially with the serial killers, the terrorists, the domestic terrorists. Let's talk about that. But they don't call that white on white crime. Why is it black on black? To box us out again, to put us in a bubble. They like to keep us held down. Just like even with this Black History Month foolishness, the way they tortured our, we had before they had for a damn year, and then you want to give us the shortest month. They had the shortest amount of days here, and we supposed to be happy. Give us our reparations. How about that? We can start from that point, moving forward. But it's a lot, like literally a lot I could talk to you about, and yeah, and I'm definitely loving the vibe, but we hit it, and like you said, all of us connected. Community violence, police terrorism, all of us connected. To me, I call it the highway of hell. No matter what street you might take to get to I-95, you might go to Charles Street and go this and get there 83, whatever. I might take St. Paul Street, but that's what we're taking. We're gonna end up in the highway of hell, symbolic to this damn system that don't give a damn about us. Let's be crystal clear. Highway of hell. Stop letting them play us. United we stand, divided we fall. And that's what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing. And my brother, before I check in to see if we have any comments or questions, I wanted to know, are you feeling any more? Are you still doing your spoken words?
Yes, I am. I'm just asking that. I know you said you wanted to bring me back on when Brianna's family member came back on. That way I can be prepared so I don't mess up.
Okay. All right. So I'll let you say,
sometimes when I perform, like when we're together out of town, I have to make sure I get so emotional through those pieces.
No, absolutely. So yeah, so
I gotta warm myself up and brief so I don't mess up, because I want to deliver it the way it's supposed to be delivered, and so that it has the impact. Like you stated, the first time that we even ever met, I had no clue that you were Tyrone West's sister, but I knew I had read about his case, because I knew in that year alone, my brother wasn't the only person that was murdered, because me and my family started beginning to do research on police brutality. And one of the things that hurt me to my core is when I found out how many people were murdered in 2013 alone.
A lot. Mm-hmm.
Not just the people that died before them, but in that year alone, and then just continue to see it happen year after year after year after year after year after year until we're now in 2022, and it's continuing to happen. So I definitely got you when I come back. Just let me know like a day or two ahead of time.
I'm gonna let you know ahead of time. Absolutely, definitely. I missed that smoke, but yeah, you still brought the smoke without bringing the smoke. So yeah, so real quick, I'm gonna check in with our brother Marcellus. Marcellus, do we have any questions or comments? Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
On Facebook, Hillary says, "Truth here tonight. Thank you, Carlos and Tawanda." And on YouTube, Angela says, "I did basic training at Fort Leonard Wood. Stay safe. Prayers to you, Carlos. R.I.P. Hawkman and new modern day lynching." Mic check.
Mic check. And my brother Carlos, I have a question. How can we support you? Do you have, I know you shared your page, but do you have like anything else that you want to share with us, in which ways, like if somebody wanted to give you a monetary support, because I know that that's important with trying to feed, and clothe people and things like that. We could pray all night, but prayer without work is nothing. So I wanted to know, how can we support you and this journey, you giving back? Because it's not even you. How can we support each other? Because you're giving back, you're saving somebody else's child. You giving them the opportunity that nobody, when people frown their nose up, because all our brothers and sisters want to do is just work. They want that fair opportunity. We build America. You get what I'm saying? They just want that fair opportunity to share their gifts, their deeds with the world. So yeah, so how can we support you?
So one of the ways that if anyone wanted to support is on PayPal, is at info@carryontheball.org. Also, excuse me, through Venmo, and if Tawanda, if I don't have it, excuse me, right now it's Carrie T1 on Venmo. Those are the two ways that you can support us right now and our organization and all the works that we're doing out here in the community, because I promise you, we're doing this out of love, and we're doing a lot of these things out of our pockets. So,
I'm right there with you, because like when we go meet up and stuff like that, you got sometimes where we go and speak, they might pay for our plane or something like that, but the rest of the stuff we putting our money into. We buying our own meals, and we even sometimes I done jumped on planes where ain't nobody paid my way. I done put my own stuff in the hotel to be there for the cause in the moment. So I definitely know. So
real,
yeah,
that's real.
that's definitely real. Yeah. So is any, and I wanted to ask anybody on the West Coalition panel, my brother Ben, even Marcellus, even Uncle Bill, do you guys want to ask or say any comments to our brother Carlos? Mic check.
Hi, this is Bill. It's not really a question, but I just wanted to point out, I was reading today, because it's my responsibility to find out who the police have killed recently so we can uphold their names. So I read that in the entire year of 2021, the police killed in the United States, they killed 1,134 people. That number just came out. And it was actually a larger number by 7 than 2020, the year before. So to me, the political point is that the Democratic Party is not our savior, that this is an ongoing problem. We have to fight the system. So I just wanted to bring
right. That's right. That's right, because because we go back and we look at it in 2013, when both of our brothers were killed, Tawanda, who was the president?
Yeah.
Barack Obama. Eric Holder was was at the head of the Justice Department. So, like you said, neither party is a representative of, hey, we get them in office, then we got it. No, because all this happened with me personally and Tawanda and many others that died between those years of 2008 up to 2016 happened under the watch of President Obama and his entire staff. So you're right. The Democratic Party is not our savior at all.
Right. And after Eric Holder, then there was Loretta Lynch, who pretended she was going to help the West family and did nothing.
I remember sitting down with Loretta Lynch, literally. I remember getting in a ride with her. I remember Secret Service guys following us like we were. I thought I was the president for a second. You get what I'm saying? All that, and every time they give me that feeling like, oh, we get close to accountability. It's just like the Wizard of Oz. They playing games. I'm thinking about some damn ruby red slippers when the power was in us. It ain't the ruby red slippers. The Wizard of Oz is symbolic to the man that's pulling these damn strings doing the dog and pony show. Just like our city solicitor, I call him the Wizard of Oz. He was always acting like everything had to go through him. Every time we sat down with the mayor and tried to get accountability, everybody, oh, we got to go past the city solicitor. We got to go past Andre Davis. I'm like, damn, what the hell are you, the Wiz? I even said it to his face, and I keep it real. I said, everybody treating you like the Wiz. He's like, no, I'm not the Wiz. I know you're not. But I'm just saying, like, the games are real, but it's just sad. So, but again, I'm going to check in real quick with our brother Marcellus, but I want to ask you, my brother Carlos, is anything that you want to share before we kind of go to like our sad list and kind of close out? Anything else you want to share on your heart, your mind, anything?
Of course, I want to thank you again for having me on tonight. And I just want to tell everybody, man, to continue to fight and to continue to be some type of pillar in your community to uplift positivity, even in negative situations. Don't let the tragedy that you may have or see turn your view of what the world could be in a negative way. I feel like we still have an opportunity to do some positive things out here in these, especially in these communities that we're from and that we may even still live in. Just continue on the fight. Just continue moving in the right direction. Let's continue pushing the pushing the issue of the corruption that this system has plagued us with, don't give up the fight, man. We still got a chance. We're gonna get to the finish line, victorious one day.
Absolutely. Like our brother Mel said, he always said it with his big, beautiful smile, till we win, until we win. We're going to keep fighting. Until these killer cops on cell blocks, we're going to keep fighting. It's just that no matter like how, the thing about life, the unfortunate part about it, the beautiful part about it is you get to wake up whenever you get to wake up, right, in your right state of mind, and you got your good portion of health, you get to reset things, right? So that's the beautiful blessing of life. But then there's the part of life that I can be selfish and say I don't like, when things are thrown at you that you didn't ask for, that you just got to keep dealing with. You got to keep dealing with, God forbid, that somebody was murdered that you love. You get what I'm saying? Or even that somebody that you love was sick from an illness and you got to put them in the ground. You got to deal with it. You can't be like, oh no, I want to stop this part of life. And you can't. You just got to deal with that pain. When, you know, people that are close to you hurt you the most, you got to deal with that pain. It's just sad. So those are things in life that I don't like, you know, but unfortunately, you know, we got to deal with it, you know, and do the best and be the best person that we can be. And just remember, you Black, African American, we make history every single day. Remember, they always watching us. They always studying us. So make sure you give it your best every day. Anytime you can help anybody, even if it's just being an ear, even if it's just giving somebody $1 bill, even if it's just giving them kind words or saying, oh, you look beautiful today, or you look handsome today, or I like that outfit. You never know. A bit of kindness goes a long way, you know. And I always think about this guy that seemed real angry. He reminded me of Santa Claus. He's an old Caucasian male. His name was Mr. Haymeyer. He was real mean. He was like to the point he would call the police on children riding their bicycles up and down the hallway. You know, it was just really sad. I don't know where my screen went black. I don't know if I'm still on or off. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, can y'all see me? Because I can't see. My whole screen went black. They playing with my phone. So I don't know.
Yeah, we can see you.
Okay, now I can see. When I say my whole screen just went black, it scared the mess out of me, but God is good. So I'm back. Guess it went black for Black History Month. But anyway, real quick story. Mr. Haymeyer, he seemed to be a real angry elderly man, you know, and he would call the police on little children riding their bicycles, child play. Like literally, he called the police like 36 times a day, and they just pretty much wrote him off and said he had mental health issues and all this kind of stuff. And I remember he was our landlord. Like imagine living in a townhouse on your landlord block. You know, and that's why right now I'm about to get emotional, because now I'm thinking about my best friend Kara, and I met her like we were like 3 years old, like 4 years old. We started going to pre-kindergarten together. We lived on this little small street called Hunter Street, and literally our landlord lived at the end of the block. So as I'm growing up in this neighborhood on this block, long story short, I remember my mother had sent me the money order to go pay the landlord. So I went and knocked on his door, and he yelled at me. He's like, who is it? And I was like, hi, I was coming to pay you your rent, but when you calm down and you're ready to talk, then I'll come. You matter of fact, you can come and get it. He was like, no, just leave it. I said, no, you can come get it when you calm down. So long story short, he waited like maybe 2 hours. He came, he knocked on the door, and at that moment he knocked, and I came to the door. He was like, yeah, I'm here for the. I said, look, I know what you're here for. I said, but what if I was to slam the door in your face and be rude like how you have been to me and everybody on the block? And then, so from that moment, he was like, something smells good. You in there cooking? And I was baking some barbecue chicken. So I invited him in. And just that moment, just getting to know him, opening up, long story short, he was a lonely elderly man. Like literally he had 30-something cats in his house. And he said each one of those cats represented every last family member that he lost. Like, so he was just sad, and literally like every Sunday we were literally like, I would make him dinner, wrap it up, take it down to his house. Then he started buying me like blenders and all this kind of stuff. Before he died, like he felt love, you know. And then he wound up, by me being kind to him, he wound up getting all the kids in the neighborhood, and they built a garden right over there on Hunter Street. It was like some type of garden, but because he felt love for once, it was like almost like you get through to the Scrooge, you know what I mean? So, or the Grinch. And he was feeling so much of love and happiness. So I'm glad and to be honored that just being nice and kind, you know, pretty much opened up that airway, that energy you talked about, that your brother left, that positive energy, and it rubbed off on him, and we became best friends. And I was so sad when he passed away, but at least I know that he didn't die in vain, and I know that he had everybody in the neighborhood that he wound up touching and loving. They was like, oh, he's so nice and sweet, and it was just wonderful. So yeah, so just always say, live to love, love to live. Again, my brother, we want to thank you. We're going to check in with the list. I'm sorry, we're going to check in with the comments and questions with our brother Marcellus real quick, and then we're going to unfortunately go to the sad list. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. So I missed a few comments. I was on the West Wednesday page. That's where there were a few comments there, but there were a lot of comments on your page. So I went over to your page, and I'm going to go back through the comments that I missed from your page. So Anson Osaka says preach. Kumbe Buja Brock tags Darren King D Seals. Bruce says good evening all. Sorry to be late. TNT T Taylor says responding to Angel saying they're targeting us. Said TNT says sad truth. TNT Taylor says fist up, fight back. Bill says yes, fists up, fight back. Kume Buja Brock says say that to Wanda Jones. TNT Taylor says I asked her about Tyrone when she was here in St. Louis. TNT Taylor says our homicide rate is horrible. Angel says right. TNT says clap, speak Los. Gretchen says yes. Referring to your speech. Angel says the schools are open, City Hall closed, the municipal building closed. They have informants killing so they can get paid and they can trade in Fed time. This is the truth. Brock says Hunger Games is how DCOs called it. Angel says nobody should walk free on a murder case that the world saw with their natural eyes. TNT Taylor says great job, guys. Angel says be careful of the phone scams. They're tracking us down everywhere. Watch accidents. They know your whereabouts. These are the military tactics they use to abuse the community and the world. TNT Taylor says, yes, to Wanda Jones, me too. They killed 5 people here in St. Louis from late November to December 15th, just last year. Speak Los, she pretended to help me too. This is so sad. I think referring to Miss Lynch. We just had a police shooting about a week ago where 2 officers were shot as well. TNT Taylor says, till we win. And we just had a police shooting about a week ago where 2 officers. Sorry about that. I believe that's all of the comments. Yep, those are all the comments. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic
Thank
check.
you so much. Thank you so much, Marcellus, for doing that. And thank everybody that commented. And what's up, Brother Brock? We love you. What's up, my sister? My Shiro, Tony, my beautiful sister, beautiful inside and out. I love you. My beautiful sister, Angela, love you, my beautiful sister Gretchen. Just love all of y'all and just everybody, And Anson, love all you guys so much. Thank you guys for tuning in. So, we're definitely gonna keep it moving. And unfortunately, this is the time that really breaks my heart. But as we go back, because we have to remember that we were unable to read the list on last week because I was frozen on and out, so I can't remember which character. And my students always laugh because I always get it wrong, but we were frozen nevertheless. But thank God we're not right now. So we're going to take 2 minutes of silence just to show respect for all the victims of police brutality, all the victims of senseless, and I mean senseless violence. If you're out there committing any senseless murders and crimes, please just stop. Please just stop, because even though you're mad and you're in a rage and you feel right at the time, literally you're taking not only your target out, you're taking a family out. Like you're taking a family out and you don't know the stress that's associated until something happens to you. So we could just end it right now. Like it's a choice, like try to talk about it, try to resolve it, not by picking up a gun, a weapon, a knife, or anything. Just try to resolve it in a peaceful way. And then if you can't resolve it, like my mother said, you can't say something nice or do something nice, don't say or do nothing at all. Let's try that approach. So let's take 2 minutes, please, in honor of any of the victims on the police brutality list or the community violence list. Mic check.
Mic check.
Thank you guys so much for your time, just everything. So I'm going to turn it over to the sad list. And remember, nobody wants to get a call that your loved one was murdered. Your loved one life was snatched, stolen, just like my brother Carlos said. It's nothing worse than a stolen life. That is horrible. That's heartbreaking and it needs to stop. And I am praying for the families. I am actually putting boots on the ground, trying to find any way and every way that we can to stop the senseless community violence as well as the police brutality. Because just like my brother Carlos and I both agree that it's all hand in hand, a flip of a coin. The same coin, same airplane, different wings. We got to wake up, guys, and stick together. So thank you, guys, for tuning in. And I'm turning it over to Uncle Bill. Mic check.
Mic check. So Brian can't be with us this evening. He ordinarily upholds the names of those whose lives have been lost to community violence. I'll do that this evening. And these lives were lost between January 16th and January 22nd. If we could repeat the names, that would be very good. 34 years old, Angelo Parker.
Angelo
Parker.
Thank you. 20 years old, Kenneth Lawson.
Kenneth Lawson.
26 years old, Christian Williams.
Christian Williams.
30 years old, Avian Porter.
Avian Porter.
30 years old, Jonathan Miller.
Jonathan Miller.
25 years old, Krister Talbot.
Krister Talbot.
29 years old, Deshaun McGreer. Thank you. 24 years old, Hassan Smith.
Hassan Smith.
28 years old, Tyrone Allen.
Tyrone Allen.
25 years old, Shaquille Nangle.
Shaquille Nangle.
30 years old, Antonio Baines.
Antonio Baines.
And 23 years old, the last person whose name we'll uphold this evening, killed by community violence here in Baltimore, Darren McCoy Jr.
Darren McCoy Jr.
Shall I go ahead with the people killed by police recently?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. I realized we were making a little mistake when we announced the names of those whose lives have been stolen by the police, because if we don't know the name, and tonight 9 of the 10 people are individuals whose names have not been released by the police as of yet. So instead of upholding the name, we would say Ashe, but Ashe is a Yoruba word that comes from West Africa, and it really means, may it be so. So I don't want us to say Ashe about the death. So after I say the name, I'm going to say killer cops and cell blocks. So when we say Ashe, it means may it be so. The killer cops belong in cell blocks and should be there. So these are the names of people killed by police around the United States between January the 15th and January the 20th. And the first person whose life was taken by the police was in Durham, North Carolina on the 15th of January. Killer cops and cell blocks, Ashe.
Killer cops and cell blocks, Ashe.
Or if you just like to say Ashe, then we're saying it in response to killer cops and cell blocks. Second person killed by police in this recent period in Gillette, Wyoming on the 16th of January. Killer cops and cell blocks, Ashe.
Ashe.
Third person killed in Puyallup, I think that's the town's name, Puyallup, Washington on the 17th. Killer cops and cell blocks, Ashe.
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 Next person killed by police in the recent period in Hemet, California on the 18th of January. Killer cops and cell blocks, Ashe.
Ashe.
Next person killed by police recently in Wood River, Illinois on the 18th of January. Killer cops and cell blocks, Ashe.
Ashe.
Next person was killed by police in San Jose, California on the 19th. Killer cops and cell blocks, Ashe.
Ashe.
And for the next person killed by police, we actually know the name. It was in Perdido, Alabama. We don't have the information as we usually do from the Washington Post where they tell us the age. This is from another list called Mapping Police Violence. So I'm unable to tell you the age of the victim. But the gentleman who was killed by police is Ronald Flowers.
Ronald Flowers.
Next victim killed by the police recently was in Lacey, Washington on the 20th of January. Killer cops and cell blocks, Ashe.
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 Next victim was killed in San Francisco, California on the 20th again. Killer cops and cell blocks, Ashe.
Ashe.
And the last person that we'll read tonight to uphold was killed by the police in Bronx, New York. Killer cops and cell blocks, Ashe.
Ashe.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for upholding the names, and our strongest sympathies go out to the families.
Thank you, Uncle Bill. And I want to give a special shout out again to our brother, Carlos Bell. And I'm praying for you and your family. And I always, always keep your brother's name uplifted. And I'm so sorry you had to lose your brother to senseless police terrorism, senseless violence that they get it's a sport to them. They don't care. They have the right to play judge, jury, and executioner, and they shouldn't. They shouldn't. That's what we need to script them. They're the only, and I want y'all to hear me, the only occupation that can get away with, I feared for my life, and get to take someone's life and just walk away. And I think about those firefighters who had no choice. They literally went a burning abandoned house. They didn't even have people in it. They had to put their life on the line to go in there and put out flames. And unfortunately, these brave, dedicated heroes went in and lost their life. Why couldn't they go sit on the curb and say, you know what? I don't want to go in an abandoned house. I feel like my life is in danger, because when you're seeing flames and smoke, your life is in danger. But they couldn't dare say that. So we need to change the narrative. We need to change the way that we just accept things. We need to stop being complacent, and we need to just pretty much knock it down, build it back up. So again, remember, live to love, love to live. I love you guys all. And this weekend is another ceasefire weekend where ceasefire will be uplifting names of people lost, the weekend, and you can do sacred different ceremonies in different neighborhoods as a part of ceasefire. And my sister Angela, she's doing something in honor of Timothy Fleming this weekend. Literally this weekend, we sent out the emails. So if you are interested, please go and show my sister Angela, because her brother's birthday is on the same day as my cousin Tavon Anderson's birthday. They share the same birthday, and it's this weekend. So please, if you guys can come out and you want more information, reach out to me, and I'll be glad to share all the information. I'm not going to share it completely out here because I know those killer cops in Birmingham are watching. I know Marilyn Mosby and her crew is watching. I know Lottie Dottie and everybody is watching. But if you want that very important information, I'll be more than glad to share it with you guys. So remember, live to love, love to live. I love you all. And remember, if you're a Black African American person, every day we make history. Every day there's somebody watching us. Whether it's a child, there's somebody that's inspired by us that you don't even know. Some life that you don't touch, you don't even know you touched this person's life. So just remember, always have love, always have integrity, and always, always be kind, always be humble. Because that's the only thing. Because negativity, guess what? Pretty much brings on negativity. It's just like a yawn, it's very contagious. So avoid negativity. Always surround yourself with positivity. Even if that means you're talking to someone and they're getting in your spirit and in your space with negative stuff, and you're feeling these bad vibes, and you're feeling so, oh my goodness, that's the time that, you know what, thank you, seal it right then and there. If you gotta go off the phone, you gotta say, hey, I gotta go real quick, I'm gonna call you back. You gotta walk away, hey, you know what, I hear you, but I'll be back. But do what you gotta do, protect your peace by all means. In the same way we brought you guys a video, a heartbreaking video, a real video of actual victims, literally. Abdul Salam, that was almost murdered 14 days before my brother was murdered. And then we had Darrell Harris, literally 24 hours. You hear the young man, you see Ruiz, Killer Ruiz, doing this thing, him and Chad. You see them being the animals that they are. But I want you to finish watching this video. And more importantly, after you finish watching it, get in contact with Marilyn Mosby. Tell her she needs to meet with the West family, the West Coalition, ASAP. Like today. Like while she on trial and trying to bring with all her supporters, tell her she needs to give me some answers. Tell her Timothy Fleming family deserves their autopsy report. They deserve accountability. So does Anthony Anderson family. So does Corey Ball's family. We all deserve accountability. Cell blocks for killer cops. We can't stop. We won't stop until killer cops are in cell blocks. Thank you guys for tuning in. See you guys next week. Mic check.
Mic check.
Till we win.
And Mr. West begging for his life. And Mr. Salam begging for his child to be excluded and comforted from what was taking place. Not for himself, but for his 3-year-old child.
Case number 4, Adina Britt and family, September 10th, 2015.
My name is Adina Britt, and I wanted to submit a 30-second testimonial that Jorge Omar Bernardez Ruiz is one of the 11 terrorists that came into my house performing a home invasion in September 2015, terrorizing my entire family and even holding my 12-year-old son at gunpoint. He needs to be stopped.
Case number 5, unidentified arrestee, assaulted in 2016.
I suggest you back the fuck up. No, why you
Again, this video did not surface until the summer of 2020. Case 6, Thomas McCullough, May 2016 and February 2017.
I heard my front door coming off the hinges like it exploded.
Thomas McCullough says it happened twice. In May 2016 and February 2017, Baltimore City Police burst through his green front door and raided his Pimlico homes.
They said, police. They come up, shotguns, guns.
He says officers ransacked the place, looking for drugs, money, and weapons. He took pictures of the damage he says they left behind.
Tell us where the drugs are, the scales, the guns, and the large amounts of money.
Nothing was found. Now he's suing police, claiming officers, including a former member of the Gun Trace Task Force, frightened him, his wife, and father-in-law when the officers conducted what his suit calls an illegal search of his home. The owner of the house tells 11 News after the second raid, he had to replace the front door. McCullough and his attorney say they want Baltimore police held accountable.
There is a colossal breach of trust.
And McCullough tells us following both raids, no one was arrested or charged.
This all begs the question, when will Baltimore City State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby see the prosecution of Bernardes Ruiz as warranted?
They were the stopping officers in these so-called jump-out cars, unmarked and so forth, that stopped both the West vehicle and the Salon vehicle without probable cause. And these officers are the ones that also were joined by others, but they are the ones who initiated the stops, pulled both men out of the vehicles, and commenced the vicious activity that was thrust upon them.
And the Officer Ruiz that started this attack is still working and working with promotions. He is now sergeant, but the fact that this repeat violent offender had a history leading up to my brother. There was Darrell Harris, there was James Green, Joseph Green, Abdul Salam, and my sister Dina and her family. No one family deserves to be brutally murdered or brutalized by this repeat violent offender Ruiz. It is time we take action. The time is now.
Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardes Ruiz is a repeat violent offender. Based on these accounts, in accordance with the law, we, the West Coalition, call for him to be fired, prosecuted, and incarcerated.
We're more than hashtags and body bags. We're more than being 6 feet in the dirt and pictures and buttons on t-shirts. Our lives matter.
For the safety of our city, the prevention of further harm, and the justice for these families, we see no other option.
And again, I'll say, the time is now.